Hi, my name's Thete and we're going to be taking a look at one of the aspects of the new 40k releases from the weekend. In this case, the themed Typhus list, Terminus Est Death Guard list from the Book of Rust. I was also very excited about the Drukhari codex release, but I'm currently wrestling with a possible brigade detachment on that one. Can't quite get it right. Doesn't matter, not going to be able to have a Drukhari force for several months anyway. And may end up just going for a battalion, a patrol detachment to do what I want. But never mind, Death Guard now. Now, I like Typhus, but I have to say with 9th edition, and I've been playing about with lists and coming up with lists, and I've never really managed to crowbar him in, particularly since the new codex came out. So the idea of a list that, although doesn't have to include Typhus, it's like, well, why would you not? It's certainly themed around him. That is interesting. So, took a look at the features. And to begin with, it doesn't look appealing. It has to be said. See, you can't take vehicles. Now, obviously, that's part of the theme. You understand that, not to be surprised at all. But the thing is that Death Guard have a lot of really nice vehicle options. It seems almost inconceivable to me that you would ever randomly come up with a list that didn't include them. It didn't include some at least, and you can actually include quite a lot. I mean, fetid blight drones, plague burst crawlers, defilers, decimators. I love the Terax pattern termite assault drill. You can make a strong list with almost nothing but vehicles. Of course, you've got to have your troops in for whatever detachment you take. So, yeah, none of them being allowed on no Mortarion either, which also is understandable. And I wouldn't take him anyway for a friendly game unless I knew I was also coming up against another Lord of War. But it does, if you look on the bright side, I like to look on the bright side, it does give you the excuse to jam your army full of Terminators. I also love Terminators. And at least this list doesn't have you agonising about how many you can bring. Oh, if I take another unit, then that means I can't have that other plague burst crawler. Or I can't quite take the fetid blight drones with the flesh mowers. No, because you can't take them anyway. So just more Terminators. More Terminators. Finally, your list. If you take a plague company at all, and of course you would, there's no downsides to it, it has to be Harbingers. Again, not at all surprising, that is the company designed around Typhus and his pet poxwalkers. So then you go, okay, those are the drawbacks, those are what you have to do, those are your restrictions. All right, sounds quite severe at the moment, but understandable for the theme. So then the benefits, after you've suffered the drawbacks. Well, if you take Typhus, then you get an extra warlord trait in the form of the special one with this list. Of course, if you don't take Typhus, your warlord can have this one or not. It's basically any enemy models within 3 inches of your warlord if they've got a leadership of 7 or less, cannot secure objectives or perform any actions. I mean, really, if they're going to be 3 inches with him, they're probably not going to be performing actions anyway, but they're not securing objectives is good. Not stunning, but it's in addition, so yeah, that's okay. Then strategic reserves. Now, this costs you an extra command point based on the normal rules. Oh, it's more expensive. But you do get to at least set up your units anywhere on the battlefield as long as it's more than 9 inches from enemy units. Doesn't have to be from the table edge. But I mean, I look at it and I think, well, who wants to spend command points teleporting poxwalkers? My list is full of Terminators who can do it naturally. So I'm not particularly interested in that one myself. Then you go on to the special stratagems. There's 4 special stratagems. There's one that allows you to bring back a half-spent or completely destroyed unit of poxwalkers, very much reminiscent of the Chaos Space Marine one for bringing back cultists. And of course you can pop them wherever you like. I mean, that's the benefit of doing it for the half-spent unit. You can just go, right, we'll take them from there and we'll pop them over there. You need to save the CP to do it. If you've got a decent sized unit, it could cost like 3 CP to do it. But I mean, that's potentially nifty, strategically useful. Another one that gives some poxwalkers extra movement and an extra pile-in. Another one that gives the contagion range of a unit a boost, which could be nice with Terminators teleporting into the back lines. And another one that lets you shoot at an enemy unit in combat with your expendable poxwalkers. albeit with a penalty to hit. Now, at this point, I wasn't exactly fired up for the list, I have to say. I was looking at it and thinking, absolutely themed. And I like the idea of just basically having to take lots of Terminators, because what else can you for your heavy clumping? But where are the teeth? Well, as it turns out on the next page, because it has its own discipline, the Festa discipline, the psychic powers, I think, are awesome. So the first one's pedestrian enough, you know, deduct toughness from an enemy unit. Yeah, nothing particularly new there. Then it takes off. Lung rot, for example, use on an enemy unit. Unit cannot advance. Each time that unit is selected to charge, its only eligible units within 6 inches can be selected as the target of its charge. Each time a charge roll is made for that unit, it cannot be re-rolled. That could be very disruptive to a close combat based army, like Blood Angels, for example. Then you've got Pernicious Dose. So until the start of your next psychic phase, you can select a friendly unit within 6 inches of the psychic for this one. Each time a model in that unit makes an attack with a plague weapon, you can re-roll the hit roll. Oh. Noxious Discharge. So what you do here, select an enemy unit within 12 inches, and visible, of course. Unit suffers a mortal wound, but all units within 3 inches also suffer a mortal wound, apart from Nurgle units. Rot Wind. Enemy unit within 18 inches until the start of your next psychic phase. Each time a model in that unit makes an attack, reduce the armor penetration of that attack by 2, obviously up to a minimum of 0. That's knackering all sorts of things. Accelerated Entropy. Select an enemy model within 12 inches. Both players roll 1d6 and add their model's toughness characteristic. So again, stacked in favour of a Death Guard Psyker here. If your result is higher than your opponent's, the enemy model's unit suffers 3 mortal wounds. If your result is double your opponent's, or more than double your opponent's, that enemy model's unit suffers d3 plus 3 mortal wounds instead. They're stunning. They're absolutely stunning. And, you know, so impressive are these that although I've shown the setup, I sort of came up with the list and I put 2 Psykers in it. I was thinking maybe I should have 3. Maybe I should, you know, because swap out the Lord of Contagion for a Demon Prince, perhaps. The reason I haven't is because when you've got loads of Terminators, I like the idea of a Lord of Contagion going in with, say, some Terminators into the back lines. I mean, if you're going to have loads of Terminators, I really want a Lord of Contagion, but do I? You know, the psychic phase is going to be so potentially destructive. Do I? Am I not better off with the Demon Prince, who will just have to join the Terminators later on? Then some of the relics aren't bad either. Couple, well, I suppose 3 that really caught my eye. So Canker, a plasma pistol. Now, you're not always going to have someone with a plasma pistol that you would want to give a relic to, but if you do, I mean, it's 18-inch range, strength 9, AP -4 and damage 3. It's very likely a dead Marine. Even a dead Plague Marine if you're playing against another Death Guard army. You know, Rot Grip, which is a Power Fist or Plague Claw. Triple strength, AP -3 and damage 2. No penalty to hit. Also, it's a plague weapon. So, you know, you give that to someone and you could potentially be, you know, you're not going to affect your hit roll. You can be re-rolling your wounds effectively because you're going to very likely be wounding on 2s. And you get to re-roll it because it's a plague weapon. Then Filth Sensors for the Psychic, you know, to boost your Psyker, because it boosts the range of the Psychic powers by 6 inches. So yeah, for a Psyker heavy army, I think I like this list very much. Less so, I think, if you weren't taking a significant presence in the Psychic phase. If you just took Typhus as your only Psyker, then I'd think, no. But then I don't think you would do that anyway, would you? Because, you know, Psykers are pretty good for Death Guard even with the normal list, you know, the Contagion discipline. But yeah, so, you know, if you're going to have a significant presence in the Psychic phase, and you do get to take lots of Terminators without the hesitancy over losing some potential pretty potent vehicle capabilities. So my list that I'd taken was, with this particular one, Typhus. Now I took a Terminator sorcerer rather than a malignant plaguecaster, although that could be an obvious one to do, is because you've taken lots of Terminators anyway, you can zap them in at the back. They're relatively well protected, and there's a secondary you can take where you cast psychic powers from the back as actions. So, you know, I was thinking in terms of that. Couple of units of 5 Plague Marines, couple of units of 20 Poxwalkers, Foul Blight Spawn, Tallyman. You get the command points rolling, particularly if I'm going to be spending 3 command points at once in the battle in bringing back a unit of Poxwalkers. And then 2 units of Blight Lord Terminators, 2 units of Death Shroud Terminators, and yeah, that would be interesting. That would be interesting. And as I say, I'd be very much looking forward to the psychic phase every turn. But those are my thoughts anyway. Let me know yours in the comments below. Hope you found the video interesting. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And until next time, I'll see you later.